Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Thirsty Thursday penultimate episode of Dragon Age: The Search for Anders. I am Simon at Wandering DM. Tonight I'll be playing Aiden and probably Harold?
You will be.
Hayden and Errol. And before we jump into the game, I would just like to thank our sponsors here, beginning with Roll20, the online platform that lets us play all of these games online. You should check them out at roll20.net. You should also check out Mage and Press, makers of 5th edition D&D supplements, and of course Found Familiar, great coffee company. Check them out and order their coffee. If you use code WanderingDM, you get 10% off. And lastly, our partners through the Diceomancy program, Level Up Dice, of course. More on them at the end of the stream. That said, let's go around the table, introduce our wonderful cast and our wonderful GM for tonight's game. We'll begin with... Oh yeah, the overlay is like all weird now. Begin with the person on my left, with Andrew.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrew. Leaving myself on mute, of course. I'm playing Bastien, our Ferelden warrior, and yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna say for right now. I will pass it off to the next person.
And next person would be Gabe.
Hello, I'm Gabe. Gabe James Games, Twitch, Twitter, pretty much anywhere else. I'm excited because I have no idea what's happening today, but I am playing Atson, the Elven Mage, who is definitely not nervous or concerned and is definitely not locked inside of a room with the Inquisitor, who may not like blood mages and is a blood mage and is in a room with another person who is possessed by a spirit. This is fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Nothing wrong will happen. Um, Up next, we'll go in diagonal, right above Andrew. It's Deirdre.
Oh, hi, that's me. Hey, y'all. You know me. I'm at Deirdre on Twitter, or Proxor follows me for is here on Twitch, and I get to play Verusa, our sneaky stabby bitch, who is, having a day or time. It's great. Everything's fine.
And next to Verissa, someone who returned, I think 2 episodes ago.
One episode
ago. Oh yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks, one
Yeah.
episode. Eugenio.
Hey everybody, I'm Eugenio. You might know me as DM Jazzy Hands. Tonight I am playing Zalanis, our Dalish elf keeper who was lost in the crossroads of the Alluvien for a while. Found his way out to discover his friends, had made new friends and lost some old friends, and is very happy to be back and would like to know what the plan is next, because apparently we've already caught Anders and he thought he was going to come back and have to tell you all what he'd learned about where Anders was, and y'all already knew.
And last but not least amongst the players is Kelly.
Hello, I'm Kelly, the opera geek. I'm playing Mavia, the bacon-obsessed dwarf who wandered off at the end of the last episode because I thought that I was going to be gone for an episode. So I had to hurriedly figure out with our DM what I was actually doing as Mavia. But I'm here, and it probably involves bacon.
And to round up this group of very eccentric characters, we have our wonderful GM Tanya.
Hey y'all, I'm your GM Tanya. I play all your NPCs, including Inquisitor Fenris, and all the random characters that you all find and interact with. And we'll see what happens with Atson and this whole ritual he's trying to get Anders to take part in, or at least guide him on. And a very, very stone-faced Inquisitor that is staring them both down. But before we do that, can or will everyone kind of recap where we left off? Because
last week was a lot, so we took a week off, and beside the DM, I'm sure the audience would appreciate a recap of what we did exactly.
Well, I feel like my return was an event, so I'll talk about that. I kind of already have. Zelanis came back and came out of the crossroads and was discovered by Verisa first, I believe, and they had a little reunion, and it seems that both of them are much changed. And so Zelanis really sort of spent a lot of his time as he first came back. First of all, asking what had been going on, and when he found out that Anders had already been captured, what was going to go on next. And we managed to get the whole crew together. I believe there was a big dinner scene, and it was very exciting, as our dinner scenes often are. And goodness, what other specifics? I don't want to talk about other characters' arcs, so I think that was sort of it for Zelanis, but hopefully that kicked us off.
Yes. Bastien, what were you up to while all the shenaniganry was going on?
I kind of don't remember.
It's amazing what 2 weeks will do to us, y'all.
I mean, I remember the whole Zelanis coming out of the Luvian, and then Zelanis Mavia is dead, and that joy and all of that merriment that we had there. Really, the last thing that I very much remember, I know that Bastien is inquiring about his brother and his sister through the Inquisition, and I remember at some point people started leaving the table, and I believe Bastien was kind of keeping an eye out for Athson, kind of thing. At least that's what I last remember, and I might be a little off on that, but yeah. So it's between those things, following up on the siblings and following up on Athson as well, to some extent.
Verisa, what did you get up to?
Well, after finding Zelanis and coming back, there was tension that Zelanis didn't ask about at the moment because he was concerned about other things, but I made sure that Zelanis knew everything that was happening. And then I watched everybody have a very pleasant dinner as they informed Zelanis of what was happening. And then I and Zevran went outside to shoot things.
Yes, you were off shooting things. That's what the kids call it now. And that leaves us with Athson, which is actually where we're going to start off this week. Athson, if I remember correctly,
I think we have a Mavia, though.
But
well, okay. Well, maybe what did you do? Because you wandered off.
I bounced a coin off some mage's ass.
That was Dorian's ass.
How did I forget you bouncing a coin off of Dorian's ass? How did I forget that moment?
I forgot.
Because that's when I ran away.
I didn't forget. I appreciated it.
First, I almost fell on his books, and I believe Bull came in and picked me up by the collar right before I did. Yeah. And then, basically, Mavia is just here to, because Kelly doesn't know anything about anything, so she's just here to cause trouble. But yeah, I thought that it was an important plot point that shouldn't be ignored, that I bounced a coin off Dorian's ass. It's very important.
See, and speaking of plot points, someone came back from the crossroads at least. Or did you just forget that, Harold / Simon?
No. Nah, I remember, but I was keeping the surprise.
How is
Yes.
it a surprise? We were all here last time.
But nobody saw Harold yet in game.
True, but you're not. That's the recap part, not the.
Okay. Yeah. Harold came back. He's a little worse for wear, a bit shaky. His armor dented, his clothes torn and dirty. He's in need of a bath and probably some rest. But he has something important to do.
True. Very true.
Involving cold cuts?
That's yet to be seen.
Can't say anything.
I mean, characters don't know what's happening. The players know what's going on.
Oh yeah, and that's why the player is not saying anything.
Yeah. All right, so if everyone's good and we're caught up, this week's episode is going to pick up with Athson, Anders, and Fenris. Athson, you're sitting there with Anders with this book. What is it you're looking for?
I'm looking into the process of how it gets inside and then takes hold to see if I can try to recreate that with another spirit, and essentially like if this is the demon coming in, have something else try to repeat the same process and then push it out.
Okay. So at this moment, what is it you're expecting or wanting Anders to do?
Explain the process that he went through, or like what information he knows about that connection, since he's much farther, maybe not gone, but like involved with this.
Okay. So are you asking that after you read some of this book, or are you like just pausing what you're doing and looking at him for this answer?
But pausing and looking for that answer, because I'll even say like what I'm trying to find is essentially that process of that it fills a spot and then takes over. So if I try to pull something else into that spot to try to push the original thing out, like what is that connection like? Is there ways that weaken that connection or almost like temporarily sever that connection?
He looks down at his hands and it looks like he's really deep in thought.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks up and he glances at Fenris. He looks at you. And he pours himself some wine. After a few sips, he leans back and stares you dead in the eye. I'm not sure what you think my process was like, and even Fenris didn't hear this part of the story. Hopefully, he won't run across the room and put his sword through me once he does hear it. You see, I joined with Justice because he was dying. The body he inhabited was rotting. It was never meant to house a spirit of any sort. The keep was under attack, and, well, fighter though he was in life, Kristoff was not much in death, even with a spirit of justice making him walk and talk. He'd taken not even really wounds because he wasn't alive. He was just a walking corpse. But the body he inhabited wasn't going to function for much longer. He begged me as a friend to take him in, not like a demon coming to you and offering power. Not like a demon offering you anything in the world, just if it can come in and rest for a little while. This was my friend, and I betrayed him. I hurt him. I turned him to the spirit of vengeance that did all the terrible things in Kirkwall. As for how it felt, I couldn't tell you where justice ended and I began. All I know is that it was painful, but not. Like the greatest pleasure I've ever known, yet the greatest agony. And it was only interrupted because Templars saw what was happening to me. They called me Maleficar without knowing for sure. I went into such a terrible, terrible rage that I blanked out. I didn't know who I was or what was happening or what I was doing. And when I came to, I was drenched in blood. I think they were still Templars when I started. A man's heart was literally in my hand. And I ran. I ran from the only home I'd known since the circle. And once I gathered myself, I wished I'd said no. So you see, it's not as simple as an experience or a ritual. It was something very terrible I did in the guise of helping a friend. In the end, I hurt him and ruined him. Spirits are not meant to hang out in the dead or the living. He doesn't know human emotion. He doesn't know what I feel, what I do, what I need. All he knows is a drive for justice and then vengeance for mages, because that's what was in my heart. So, all that I've read since then, there's two ways. Someone could try the Rite of Tranquility on you, and that spirit ideally will keep your connection to the Fade intact. Or you could die, or you could still become tranquil if that spirit flees, not wanting to deal with it. Not that I've heard of any spirits saving anyone like this, but there's not a lot to be done. The ritual I thought I was going to try hasn't been done in Tevinter in several thousand years, so I don't even know if it'll work. So until I die, and even maybe past that, I'm stuck with vengeance.
Would you ever wish what happened to you on someone else?
Wish? Absolutely not.
Then will you help me get rid of this so it doesn't happen to me?
And he looks at Fenris and he looks at you. He's like, didn't you listen to what I just said?
Yes.
We'd have to try the Rite of Tranquility on you.
Well, you said there was a ritual that hasn't been done in a very long time, correct?
Yes, and it's in that book you're holding, but there's no guarantee it'll work. What do you do if we manage to sever your connection to the Fade and you're not who you are anymore? You lose your magic.
To
What
lose
then?
my magic, leading to not killing people, is a price that I would pay tenfold. And there may be someone who is at least a bit older than you and I that might have an idea.
He just looks at you. He's like, when I say lose your magic, I mean lose who you are. You would be no more than a puppet. You would lose emotion, the ability to feel, see, to know joy, laughter, pain. Is that what you want?
I just don't want to hurt people.
Fair enough. I take it you mean that elven mage Solus.
Oh,
Is that who you speak of?
it wasn't who I meant, but that's an excellent idea, Anders.
Oh, who were you thinking of?
The companion of mine knew someone from years and years and years ago. Aiden. He apparently had spoken to someone that was extremely old. I think he might be able to help. And this is Gabe lying to not make Aiden sound very old.
Okay. Well, is this person with you?
He's in the camp, yes.
Well, that's a lot. Even if, and he nods his head toward Fenris, even if he'd allow us to do it.
Anders, I wouldn't have told Fenris this if I wasn't prepared to die just in case.
So it means that much to you then?
I will not become the monster that people surrounding me were, willingly or not. Life is never just a means to an end. And if Athson ceases so that no one else does, is that not what magic really should have been for? There is a right and wrong way of doing almost everything. I want to do right.
Very well. And he looks to Fenris. He looks at you. The ball's in his court now. As you can see, and he holds up the wrist with the magic suppressing gauntlet or bracelet. I don't get a lot of say in this.
I actually put my arms up in the same fashion that Anders did, as like to prompt putting the gauntlets on, facing toward Fenris.
And he just raises an eyebrow and stares at you. He is very confused. Like, he could hear all of this, but he's wondering, like, why are you holding your arm up?
I would assume that you would want me to be suppressed as well.
Well, you've shown no signs of harming anyone, and you did come here of your own free will, knowing I could have easily taken your head off. I will not force you to suppress your magic. And he waves at Anders. He's like, that's more for show than anything else. You know that if he walks around here free as a bird, he'll be dead before sundown. You know that as well as I do.
That's a good point.
Being in this room isn't for any reason other than his protection.
I look at Anders and very just bluntly say, you're very dramatic.
And so I've been told. You should have seen me jump out of the tower and swim Lake Calenhead.
The last time, were you also naked?
No, that's probably why I didn't break my full neck trying to climb down out of my room.
It wasn't part of like a sex ritual, right? Mavia was talking to me about that, and I'm gonna actually leave him my Kanarakan.
It's like, no, I was escaping for my life. The fun, sexy times came after I'd escaped.
I don't think I want to hear about this, but if you need new reading, I promise you this will not be boring. There's even some visuals.
And he just nods and he's staring at you like, okay, where did you all find him? Like, I thought I was weird.
Hey.
And Fenris sighs and is like, honestly, the me of even 5 years ago would have murdered both of you.
Growth. Sorry, that was Gabe. That was 100% Gabe. That was not acid. I'm not trying to die.
Like, let me, because I just imagine you doing the hand motion too. That's why I'm not looking at the Zoom call. But you will have one chance at this. If I think you failed, or a worse demon is about to show itself, you will die, Athson.
Thank
Are
you.
we understood?
Yes. Thank you, Inquisitor.
Don't thank me yet. You should go find the others and go talk to Solus. Show him that book and see if he has any thoughts in your companion, if he has any.
Cool.
We'll revisit this tomorrow. I have business to discuss with Anders.
Noted. And I leave, and when I shut the door, I unclench every part of my body.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does.
God, I need a drink. Oh, I need water and ale and food and bacon and I don't know. Where's Iron Bull?
I mean, Iron Bull will take care of most of those for you.
Yeah. I'm gonna go find Iron Bull. I want a hug.
Okay.
Man's got real big, nice arms. Look, I know who I am.
Okay, then we'll come back to that. Let's see what Mavia's doing. Mavia, what have you been doing while you were in your room?
I was hiding all my money.
Okay. Why
I
were
was
you hiding your
hiding
money?
all my money like a little squirrel. Because it's just what you do, right? Like you hide your valuable things because you don't know you don't know if you can trust everybody to let you have your valuable things, especially money. So you hide them.
All right.
It's a long held habit from growing up.
All right.
She's not very good at it sometimes. But she is now discovering that a large castle-like room offers her so many options. And she may or may not have stolen a spoon from the dining hall and is digging out one of the stones in the wall.
So you're going to be doing that basically forever. How long do you want to do that, maybe? Because really
probably not too long. Her attention span is about as long as Kelly's.
Okay, because I was like, that means maybe it's going to be here into season 4 trying to dig through that wall.
No, it'll be like the thing in Discworld where the prisoner finally digs it out and he pulls the brick out and he's super excited, and behind it is a brand new, like freshly grouted brick and another spoon, and it's just a note that just says, "At least you had hope." I'm like, oh,
wow.
Which is great. Yeah. So instead, she's gonna like tear a hem of the duvet and kind of put the money in there for right now.
Okay.
You know, she tries to lock her door, but she doesn't know. I mean, Bull broke it off its hinges once, so she doesn't know how strong the replacements are.
Okay.
I'm sorry, not Bull. Bastion broke it off its hinges once.
I was about to interrupt and say I'm sorry, but that was my feat of strength.
Oh my god, that was the most Canadian sorry I've ever heard in my life.
Where's Canada? What is this Canada you speak of, maybe?
I don't know, but I'm gonna blame him for everything.
This far
okay.
north place.
It is far north. Well, all planets have a north. Okay, so after that, and feeling rather disheartened and with a spoon that is probably considerably sharper than it was when she left the dining hall with it, which also gives her ideas, which could be a problem later, she's going to go look for Bastion.
Okay. Bastion, where are you?
So I would have been, in all likelihood, checking in with, I think it's Josephine.
Oh, yes, about your siblings?
Yes, to see if in the intervening, I'm not sure if we're at days or hours, if we've had any news or anything has come back. Yeah. So I would presently be there.
You have arrived at Ambassador Montelier's desk. She is busily working away. You know, her clipboard is off to the side, and that candle for once is not lit. And she's working away. Do you want to get her attention, or do you want her to wait and see if she notices you there?
I will politely knock at the door and see if she notices.
All right. She writes a bit more, and she looks. Oh yes, come in.
Ambassador Montelier, I wanted to know if we've had any progress tracking down either of my siblings.
Let me look. And she starts looking through parchments on her desk, and she finds a couple. Your sister, we're not sure if it's her. Where scouts are making sure before they approach her. There's still no word on your brother, however. Do you think it's possible he would have gone back to where you're from?
Really, I don't know. He disappeared in the middle of the night after my sister and I had an argument that we thought was private about whether or not he might be a mage, and what to do about it if he was. My background, of course, is pretty clear on what should be done, and knowing what I know, we had quite the row about what we wanted to do about my younger brother, and where he went, I can't say. Would he have come back? I can't say. He was, as the rest of us were, upset about what happened with my mother, so it's difficult. I don't know if he would have tried to find the family in Orlais or not.
Well, we'll definitely look for that. For right now, there's unfortunately not a lot of news to tell you. But if we can confirm the woman cited was your sister, we'll have a scout approach and let them know that you are safe with the Inquisition and offer a place to stay if she'd like to join you.
Just to make sure that they're safe and that I have to take care of my family. But let me know as soon as anything else develops. And if she's even willing to speak with me at this point, because frankly, I know we didn't part on the greatest of terms either. So if she sends word back, then I'll be happy to hear.
All right, we'll definitely keep you up to date. And again, if you hear anything, in case someone reaches out to you or your brother reaches out after hearing that we're looking for him, because many mages are leery of the Inquisition. So
I'll, if anything comes up, I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Ambassador. And he's just going to kind of like half awkwardly bow because he's still not quite sure about, what to do. And he's just going to turn to leave the room.
Okay. And she waves at him, but his back is turned, and she's just like, all right. So that leaves us with Verisa and Zalanis and Aiden. Zalanis and Verisa, what have you been up to?
Verisa had left and walked out the door and was shooting things because, as she said, she promised to go find Harold, but people were waiting, so. And she's confirmed with Zevran that Fenris would have somebody with him when he confronted Anders, so it's not her problem right now.
All right. So, Zalanis, what are you up to?
Yeah, I think it would just be so nice for him to be like in a dining hall eating proper cooked food and having ale and fresh water. So I think I would sort of stay in the dining hall and at the dinner for a while, but eventually Verisa being off would sort of catch my attention, and I would go out to look for her, knowing that she said she was going out to, did you say you were going out to shoot things, or that you were going out to wait on folks to go rescue Harold?
No, I think she said that she was going to shoot things.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I
No,
couldn't remember for sure.
no. What she said to Zevran was that he owed her a rematch. That's what she actually said.
Oh, did Zevran go with you right away?
I don't know. We left at that point. Like we cut
Right.
there. So I don't know what Tanya had Zevran do.
Zevran was out there shooting, and if you never showed up, eventually he will come look for you, because that would concern him.
No, she would have gone after. Yeah, they would have both been outside then. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was
Aw.
out shooting with you, and then before I forget, Mavia, did you come across Bastian after he left the ambassador's office?
She she would have found him. She would have asked a lot of people because, you know, he's kind of obvious. And she would have asked a lot of people, and I'm assuming she would find out that he was in the ambassador's office. So I just envisioned him opening the door and walking out deep in thought and just running into her, like, so she's hitting him like right in the chest area, just like, hi.
Oh dear.
Were you seeing Ambassador Amontillado?
Yeah, Montelier. Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah. No. I needed to remember that time that I mentioned my brother and my sister. So I've been asking for.
Bastian, we're talking in a hallway. Come on. And she just like takes him by the arm and like leads him out to, I don't know, I guess there's probably like not patios, but like seats somewhere. Are there seats in Skyhold? Do they ever sit down?
Yes, there is actually a whole lovely kind of back garden.
Oh,
the
good.
easiest way would be to cut through Solus's rotunda. The other easy way is there is one of the doors on the ground level of the main hall that will let you into that area.
Okay. So we'll just go that. We're going to avoid Solus because she hasn't had to deal with him yet, and she's going to just let that ship pass in the night. So she's going to go out. I can't help it. I keep watching Eugenio and he's laughing. And so she'll take him out to the garden. She's like, okay. And she kind of pops up on one of the benches. You may speak.
Wow.
So I asked the Inquisition to help me track down my siblings. My sister, who is furious with me, and my brother, who might be an apostate. And it's just a little difficult. First, my brother disappeared, you know, so suddenly. And my sister has been furious with me for a very long time.
Well, why is she so mad?
We fought about my brother.
She doesn't like what he did.
She doesn't like what I suggested.
What did you suggest, Bastian?
Well, I essentially condemned him and said that we should just bring him to the nearest circle as soon as possible. It was not my greatest moment.
What made you change your mind?
Well, I first off saw him as my brother and not as an apostate. But of course I had to.
I think you should think about how you're framing that in your head. Because when you talked to your sister, you weren't thinking about him as your brother and not an apostate. what you did is remembered he was your brother before he was an apostate.
Yes.
And that shows character growth. I'm very proud of you. Continue your story.
So at the time, her and I fought, of course, and it got loud, and I'll say got ugly, not really physically, but emotionally. And it only actually ended after a few hours when he burst into the room, screamed at us both, and then he ran. And I didn't speak to her until I left, which was a few weeks later when a group of Templar came through and started asking about an apostate in the area. And that's when I remembered my brother as he was when we were younger. And that's when I left. I left initially to track him down and to bring him home.
Okay. Do you think he heard everything you said?
Most likely. I mean, when we were kids, he was the one who used to kind of sneak around and find out everything that was going on. Mother couldn't keep secrets from him. Father would always yell at him for speaking too much truth or too little. He probably heard every word that I said.
Well, I think a couple things need to happen. And she'll kind of pat the bench next to her.
At which point Bastian, if he wasn't already sitting down, just scooches over a little bit more.
And she takes some cookies out of her bag on her belt, and she gives him a cookie. So a couple things need to happen. And the first thing that needs to happen is you need to talk to your sister. Even if you write her a letter. Because while I think you're my friend, I don't think you're the kind of person who's good with talking about feelings or admitting that you did something wrong.
I generally don't make mistakes.
That's cute. I think after you write your sister, I think you need to realize that in order for you to even go find your brother, you're going to have to forgive yourself for what you did to him. Because as long as you make this whole search about you, it's not going to work.
Well, I mean, I walked away from what was potentially going to be my entire life. And my motivation for that really was solely my brother.
Was it your brother? I mean, yeah, sure. But can you honestly tell me that it wasn't also to make yourself feel better and assuage your conscience for what you said? Because by walking away from your life, you tried to take something away from yourself, like you took something away from him? It's okay. You can finish chewing your cookie before you answer.
And chew on the cookie he will.
So she'll sit there and she's kicking her feet off the ground a little bit, mostly because Kelly's never gotten to do that, and I think it sounds like fun. So she'll be sitting there and she's like, sometimes when we've done something really bad and it results in somebody else getting really hurt, it's easy to say that we're doing something to make it right to them when we're only doing it for ourselves. I know how that feels, but it's a little different because you can still find your brother. So, I will help you write a letter to your sister. And then when we're done finding Harold, I will help you go find your brother. And then she'll take a big bite of her cookie.
You're muted.
I don't think you hear this enough because I muted myself again.
From the top.
Mavia, I don't think you hear this enough, but you really are an absolutely amazing person. Josephine has let me know that some scouts have found who they think is my sister. And I don't know if she'll even acknowledge that I'm still alive, but if you want to help me with that letter and help me find
How
my
far
brother.
away is she?
Well, we're from Fallcrest.
Mm-hmm. I have no idea where that is, and neither does Mavia.
And neither
She
does...
tore up her only map into 4 pieces.
Didn't we have a book of maps, Mavia, somewhere that you found in the library?
Emphasis on had. How far away is your sister, according to Josephine's scouts?
Deferral to better judgment, because I have no idea.
It's a long way. It's a long way from where you are.
It's a few days' journey at least.
More like a few weeks, but
it's far.
He's very fast.
He's extremely fast. He's like lightning. Okay.
Not going there.
Okay, so we find Harold. Check. We already found Zalanis. Scratch that off the list. We already got paid. That's very important.
Yes.
We get paid again after we find Harold.
Officially, I don't know. Unofficially, there may be some kickback.
Okay. So then after that, well, before that, no, yes. We can write a letter today.
We can. We've got some parchment upstairs.
Mm-hmm. We can write a letter today. I have very good handwriting.
Perfect.
If you write a few things, I can even make it look like your handwriting. But if mine's better, I think it should be mine.
Well, if you imitate my handwriting better than I do my own handwriting, then maybe you should write it.
That was very complicated. But okay, so we'll do that. Fifth. Did that guy see me bounce the gold piece off his butt? Because I really wanted to get out of the room before he noticed.
If I remember right, he did not see who bounced the coin.
Okay.
Much as he knew the coin was bounced.
Sixth. Did it bounce?
Oh, that admirably.
Good deal. Okay. And she hops off the bench. Let's go find your parchment.
And Bastion's just gonna get up with a smile on his face because he can't help but smile around Mavia, and head off towards wherever we have a writing table.
And we'll do that off screen. Yay.
Yay. All right. So now, because I was a bad GM and did not make sure that I got Mavia taken care of before we switched characters, Verissa, you were shooting things with Zevran, and Zalanis, you said that you were getting concerned, correct?
Yeah, well, if they went off at the same time and together, then he wouldn't be concerned, but he would be extremely curious. So spending this much time with Verissa, he had to have picked up a few sneaky tendencies, right? Probably not. But he's gonna try. So Zalanis will follow well behind Zevran and Verissa, far enough behind that there is probably a chance that he won't be able to find where they went. But if he does, then he will try and be sneaky and just hide and sort of observe. Not, if there's anything that he shouldn't be there for, he will, of course. It's still Verissa. He will respectfully go away. But he just is very curious about what's going on with Verissa. She seems different, sort of even more subdued, particularly with him, which is sort of, what's really got him curious about what's been going on here.
All right, Verissa, do you notice friend Zalanis trying to be sneaky?
I'm gonna say yes, because even though it's that level of an ingrained habit, as much as she would want, it hasn't been used in over 18 months, but she always knows where Zalanis when he's attempting to follow her, because he never, it's that level of your little brother following behind you. It's he thinks he's sneaky, but he's never actually as sneaky as he thinks he is, because he gets distracted by something shiny, usually a book or something that, and steps wrong and breaks the wrong twig, and you can just hear it, and you're just oh, that's Zalanis.
Okay.
For what it's worth, his footsteps might be a little different, because he has had to learn to actually be sort of, cautious and aware in the crossroads, which is not to say I think he's very good at it. He just does it differently now.
It's oh wait, that's an improvement. Huh.
Sure. Very slight, but sure.
Do you want Zevran to still be there, or are you practicing solo?
I know that she would have probably told. I know that they had that whole eyebrow conversation about whether or not Zevran was going to follow Fenris to make sure he didn't end up dead with Anders.
Yeah.
So if Zevran goes to do that, she would be just well, when you're done, I'm here, kind of thing.
All right. So we'll say, for the sake of both RP and a chance for two characters to catch up, that after a while, when Zevran did not hear either news what was going on with the Inquisitor or anything else, because he does keep tabs on Fenris, he goes off to kind of try to very sneakily find out what's been happening, but he does promise to meet you in his room later if you so desire.
Yes, indeed.
So Zalanis and Verissa, well, first off, show me how you tell Zalanis he's there.
Oh yeah, I'm behind a tree, think I'm very clever. Part of me probably knows I'm not very clever, but I really want to be, so.
Okay, I want to. May I make a small this is going to just look really cool moment?
Sure.
So Verissa and Zevran have been shooting at an archery range and just firing and firing, and then after Zevran, she keeps going for a couple minutes or a couple seconds after Zevran leaves to kind of let Zalanis get relaxed. And then in one motion, she pulls, fires, and aims above him and drops the apple directly on his head.
You can do it, and I'm debating if I want to make you roll for it.
I will roll for this. You want me to roll archery? I will roll for this.
But I also like the cinematic appeal of it without making you roll.
Oh, I guarantee even if she fails, we can make it interesting.
Fair.
Because she's aiming intentionally above his head.
Oh, I know. I'm just like,
That's not
It's-
what I
I'm
meant.
that part I knew.
I did not mean interesting like Zalatus would have an arrow in his neck, but thank you.
I wasn't gonna let you die after all
Right.
that.
I appreciate it.
You know what? For the sake of cinematic fun, I'm not gonna make you roll, but you have to
Okay.
give a description of this,
Okay.
Marisa.
I think it's literally like they've been firing, and there's that kind of back and forth that she and Zevran were doing when they were playing who's the better killer and awkward and flirting. And there's a little bit of that in their conversation as before, but it's also like a level of professionalism that they weren't as flirtatious as the first time this happened, because they're a little bit more comfortable and more relaxed, sort of, but not really, because they both have other distractions going on. And then after Zevran leaves to check on Fenris, there's like 15-20 seconds of like 3 or 4 arrows go forward, and then in pull potion, and then turn, and almost not even looking, fires the arrow, hits him over the head, or hits the apple, lets it drop directly on his head.
I don't think Zevran was, I mean, Zalanis, oh hell. Zalanis was even looking at her at that point. I think I sort of turned to watch Zevran go and see if he was really gone. And then I, sort of looking around the forest, and I just hadn't brought my focus back around to Verisa. So no idea what is happening until the apple hits me on the head. What does he do? I think actually what happens, which is, well, I'll let you decide how you feel about it, Verisa, but actually I think what happens is that the apple smacks him right on the head, and he immediately takes his staff and fires an arcane lance up into the tree. Just like immediately. No somewhat unlike him, no hesitation, straight up fires an arcane lance.
Okay, that I'm gonna make you roll for to see just
Sure.
how damage you, because it's one thing if Verisa does a fun thing. You have now shot into a tree where there are branches, there's more
Oh, yeah.
apples.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, goodness.
Let's see if we remember how to roll.
There it is. I know, right? Okay, here we go. Click that button, which looks like a roll for an arcane lance. All right, so that's a 14 with
19.
ooh, with 19 because I have bonuses because that's how role-playing games work. And I got double swipe stun points, which I'm not going to worry about too much, other than to say like, well, I guess the apple already hit me on the head, so I can't do something cool with the apple.
I mean, you could. It could split or something. I don't know.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I react quickly enough that I catch the apple on the end of the staff and sort of knock it up in the air and then blast it with that arcane lance and send apple sort of everywhere.
Somewhere
Alright.
you just hear a giant orchestra, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and a cannon go off.
And the cannons dragged onto stage. I think there's this moment of Verisa leaning on the longbow, just kind of like leaning on it, and goes, well, that was a waste of an apple, Zalanis.
It takes me a second, just a second, but it takes me a second to let the staff rest on the ground again, and I smile and laugh and say, there's plenty more. I can get more for us if you really need.
No, I can always find more if I need it.
Your aim is true as ever.
Yes. Shooting things and killing things, I'm very good at that.
At least there is some things that have not changed. Severin is not a bad shot himself.
Yes, he's very entertaining. Accuracy is important. Are you really that interested, Zalanis, in what I do in my off hours?
Yes, Barisa, of course I am. We are many things to each other, and I have been gone a very long time, but yes, of course, you are important.
Well, he is very entertaining for right now.
For right now?
I realized I had forgotten Zalanis. And she like picks the bow up and starts walking towards you.
Mhm.
And that as much as we may wish it, we have both changed.
We cut to the heart of the matter. Yes, I think that we have.
And we cannot go back.
No, I don't suppose that we can, but my question is not how do we move forward, but what does that look like for us together, for us as individuals, for our friends that we have made?
Friends that you have made, Zalanis.
He sort of smiles sadly and nods and says, the friends that I have made, Farisa. Is there no one?
They do not find me a friend, Zalanis. They fear me.
Well, I fear you from time to time, if we're being honest, Farisa.
I know. And for a moment, I had fooled myself that I could be something other than that. But I do not fool myself any longer, Zalanis. I am what I am.
You are as you have ever been for as long as I have known you. It is remarkable, your dedication, your skill, your determination. Those will never change. But the crossroads, they changed me. And I don't recommend using the crossroads as a way to grow as a person. But it is possible, Barisa. Can I ask you, and I have to apologize because in all the years we have known each other, I don't know that I have ever asked you this question. What do you want?
A question I could have answered quite a while ago for you, Zalanis. But now, you were changed by the crossroads. I was changed by myself and my actions. And while I will always be your friend, it is not the same with the others. They are not clan. They do not expect me to act as clan.
No, and it would not be proper if they did.
And yet, only other one here who understands what it is like not to interact as a clan would be Zevran. Because we don't have to pretend that the two of us are just very good at killing people.
Is that a comfort to you, Barisa, to not have to be or pretend to be a part of a clan?
Like I said, Zalanis, I stopped trying to fool myself.
Well,
You are my friend, and I care for you. You are like my brother. Except I kind of like you more than I liked my brother.
your brother was quite the
Asshole. You-
Use your words, not mine.
But
And that
I am not the person you remember, Zelanis.
it is okay. I look forward to getting to know the new Varisa. And Zelanis will sort of look up and try and spot another apple that he can shoot down with a lance and then offer to Varisa.
I think if you do that, she'll like grab it and pull the Hallowhorn dagger from her belt. It's the only dagger that's visible on her person, and pulls it and just slices it into pieces and offers you half of it.
Take one. Have a snack.
And she would look at you and say, well, looks like I don't have to worry so much about you dying on me.
I won't lie to you, Marisa. It's a miracle I survived without you in the crossroads. But I did. So, yes, you can spend a little less energy on me.
All right. Well, at least now that you're here, they're not going to be quite as obvious about how they're going to run away and scream terror of me.
Well, I mean, if they do, I'll be sure to chase after them.
It's not worth it.
Oh, Varisa, one day we'll find your sense of humor.
I have a very strong sense of humor.
Terrifying the locals with your bow and arrow does not count as a sense of humor.
I do want to point out, Zelanis, that apparently it's not my bow and arrow that terrifies them. It's just me knowing everything.
I've always found that rather useful. Come.
Yes, but apparently it intimidates people. Oh no.
They just don't see the value. They will learn. Or they won't, and that's their loss. Oof. Now come. It's getting dark, and the mist and the trees and the dark reminds me too much of the crossroads. Shall we back to Skyhold?
Yes, we wouldn't want you to be afraid of the dark, Zelanis.
No, we wouldn't, would we, Varisa?
And she'll just kind of like shoulder the bow and walk back in. And this, you would notice this is the first time she does not intentionally put herself at your back.
Mm-hmm. I think I do notice that, and watching you walk ahead of me, I just sort of watch you for a few steps, let out a sigh. Means what it means, but and then follow.
And with that heartwarming moment, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to see what happens at that alluvion that we encountered again at the end of our last episode. So stretch, get some food, get some water, get a snack. We're all going to do all those things, get a bio break. And tweet out that we're live so more people can come see the shenanigans and get some feels that they weren't expecting, including the DM. So see you in a few minutes.
Hello.
Hello. I have a black screen. Do you see anything?
There we go.
I
Yeah,
see
we're
you,
live.
and I
Okay.
forgot to change the map, so let me just change it real quick.
No worries. All right, we're back from a break. Clearly, we all need a little bit of silly after all the feels in the first half of this week's show, including feels the DM did not expect. So,
Sorry.
why are you saying
Maybe?
sorry?
I'm
Sorry.
kidding. It's not me. I'm kidding.
It was good RP, so I don't apologize for that ever. So we're actually gonna go back to the crossroads and check in on the figure that we saw at the end of last episode. What are you doing, not so mysterious figure?
Would I recognize the place I'm in?
Not necessarily. You would just know that you've exited an Illuvian and you recognize the heraldry of the current Inquisition. So you know at least that it's still modern day for you. You haven't like gone way in the future. You're not like in some other country. You are still
Okay, I'm
Wherever-
somewhere. Yeah.
I forget where Skyhold actually is.
It's in the Frostback Mountains.
Right, and it's like your GM needs to look at a map. But yes, so you know that you're still in the Frostback Mountains.
Okay, I would make my way towards the Inquisition colors.
Okay.
Is it just a single lone flag, or like are there remains of the camp that the group stayed at the start of the season?
Yeah, so remember you saw that one Inquisition scout, and you were like, "Ho there, what year is it?" Like your best Scrooge.
Yes.
See, even the cat is chip again. And they told you that oh God, I'm trying to remember what year it's actually in Dragon Age Inquisition. I think it's like 940 Dragon. And they're looking at you like the scout doesn't recognize you. It's not like everyone in the Inquisition would know who you are. But she does notice that you're like a little dirty, a little like discombobulated. And she's just like, "Do you need help, sir?"
I need to reach Skyhold.
Well,
You know where it is?
and she kind of looks down at her armor and then looks at you like, I'm wearing Inquisition armor. So.
Oh, yeah. Things have been happening. I'm kind of a big deal to the Inquisitor.
And she just like gives you a raised eyebrow, like, okay.
I need to be accompanied back to Skyhold.
She looks you up and down. It's like, well, can you walk or should I get a horse?
A horse would be... That'd be very nice. I haven't ridden anything in so long.
I hate you right now. So she goes and gets a horse. Of course. Its name is not Mr. Ed. And she helps you up into the saddle and then gets in front of you. She kind of wrinkles her nose because you're dirty and you're a little grimy after being in the crossroads all this time.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on, we'll be at Skyhold soon. Because on horseback, it's not far at all. Walking, you probably would get there like very early in the morning. Early enough to be like, who are you and why are you trying to cross the bridge? Do you have any questions for her while you ride? Or are you just like, oh, thank God I'm back home?
There's a big part of thank God I'm back home and Harold just looking at the fact that the world is more muted on this side to him. Everything was more vibrant on the crossroads because elf. I believe that's how the crossroads work, right?
Yeah. As elves would see a lot more than non-elves,
Yeah.
especially, even though you're not a Dalish elf, you still have some kind of connection to the crossroads.
But I mean, after maybe like a good half hour, if we're not at Skyhold, Harold would begin asking questions, such as, has anyone else made it out?
I think the rest of the group is back. They did find the apostate they were looking for. But without knowing exactly who you mean, because I am a scout, sir. It's not like I get important Inquisition secrets.
It's okay. We're like very special. There would be Verissa, Dalish elf with Zelanis, the Dalish keeper. There's Bastien, a Ferelden warrior, and Mavia, a dwarven scout, I think, or something like that.
She frowns. She's like, can't say as I've seen anyone like that. I was sent out here to keep watch on this mirror, but then you showed up, so I figured this was important.
Oh. Yeah, like I said, I'm kind of a big deal.
Sure you say, sir. And she just like scoffs and trots a bit faster to get this stinky weird man dropped off. And she's just like in her head like, this is the last weird assignment I take for this outfit. They don't pay me enough. But she doesn't say it, but she's thinking it as she trots faster. And in about 45 minutes to an hour, you are at the gates, obviously because she's wearing Inquisition armor. She's let in. And she, gets off, lets you down, and says, well, you said that you're a big deal. Surely you know where you're going, sir.
Yes, thank you. You've been a great help. You can take the horse back. I can walk the rest of the way, and the horse won't get in the keep anyway. It's kind of too big.
And she just gives you this look like, you're really telling me this? Like, really, did you think I was going to take a horse and ruin its shoes by walking up stone steps on a horse? That's why she's just looking at you like, did you just tell me how to do my job?
Look, I am in distress right now.
Yeah. So is this how you explain away your elf-splaining to this random
No.
pity on you?
No, I'm just I the moment that Harold reaches Skyhold, he doesn't care about the scout anymore.
Okay.
Because like he's back and he has something very important to do.
All right. So what do you do now that you are back in Skyhold? And do you see anyone? Actually, before you I'm going to roll some dice. Okay. Just tell me what you do.
The first thing he would do is go straight for Fenris's quarters.
All right. It has been long enough where Fenris would be back in his room. I mean, between everything that happened in the first half of the show and you taking about an hour to get back to Skyhold on horseback, he's definitely back in his room with some wine, trying to kind of wind down after a very distressing day and a uncomfortable conversation with Anders.
I'll knock on the door.
And he turns and he's like, people don't usually knock this time of night. He doesn't say it, but he grabs his sword and he's like looking down. Because remember, there's those little steps when you go back down to that first door. Actually, no. So you've made it up the first flight of stairs And you're at that door right before you go in the Inquisitor's quarters, up that other second flight of stairs.
1, 2. Yeah, yeah.
And so he kind of frowns at that, and he has a sword in one hand. He's like, "Who's there?"
The herald of the end of the world.
And he just kind of tilts his head like, "What?" He doesn't say it, but if you could see his face, he'd be like, "That sounds like Harold."
Yes, I'm the herald of the...
And he very carefully comes down the stairs and opens the door, but he doesn't know where he can like strike down whoever it is if it's someone trying to murder him. He like flings the door open but stands behind it, and he's got his sword ready. He's waiting to see who comes in, or if anyone even comes in the door.
Oh,
What
yeah,
do you do?
I'd come to the door. I wouldn't
Come in the
barge
door?
in his quarters, but yeah. I think if I'm close enough to Fenris, I would just let myself fall onto his arms.
And he is floored. He's like, "Harold?
I'm back.
I see."
Sorry I kept you waiting.
He like wrinkles his nose like, "I see you didn't find a river while you were gone."
Bathing is not important anymore.
Oh, yes, it is. Because remember, Fenris is very much about personal cleanliness, even in a moment like this. I'm just like, it's like, come on, I'll draw you a bath while you tell me what exactly happened. How come they didn't find? Where were you? Did you walk back to Skyhold from that Alluvian?
I was on a horse. One of the scouts gave me a horse. She didn't recognize me. How much time passed since we disappeared? She didn't even know who I was.
And he just quirks an eyebrow. He's like, "Harold, while you may have a special place in my heart, not everyone in a huge fortress is going to know who you are. But come.
I go missing and there's not even a single poster of me?
We looked for you. It's not like we just left you out there. There were scouts. We got the others back. And Verisa was determined to come back to the Alluvian first thing in the morning, but you're here. I don't understand."
I have very important message. And I don't know what to do. I just want a bit of normalcy.
All right, well, let me draw you a bath, and I'll send for a tray. I mean, I'm the Inquisitor. They're not going to tell me no. It's my fortress. And he chivies you on to the bath, because he's the Inquisitor. He's got his own bathtub, dwarven plumbing, and all of that. And he starts the water running, and then he's like, "Don't get in the water. You'll make it filthy. Just sit here for a minute. I'm gonna order a tray, and then I'll help you get rinsed off." So you hear him call out for a page, and ask for a large tray, some wine, and some ale to be sent to his room, just to come in and leave it on the desk, so that he's not disturbed, and to also bring parchment, so that he can write a note to the others and let them know that you've been found. So he's not expecting a lot of privacy for very long once everyone knows you're back. So he comes in, he helps you get rinsed off. He's like, "Did you sleep in a ditch? Because you're just filthy at this point."
Oh yeah. And I figure like his once nice, Warden armor is busted and scratched, maybe with even like patches of rust. Like he hasn't been able to keep anything properly, like in shape. It's and he's lost
Yeah.
weight. Like he would look gaunter than before.
Okay, well, I don't know if he would have been gone long enough for rust to happen. Also, I
Oh,
don't
no,
know
that's
silverite
true.
rust. I mean, you would look worse for wear, but it more
Yeah.
is like you're just filthy more than your armor is messed up.
But I don't have
Like
a silverite armor. I only had like some cheap.
Well, you're a warden. Parts of it would have. You wouldn't be as disheveled as all this. You wouldn't. You wouldn't be.
No, that's
rusty.
true.
Because for you it feels like forever, but for everyone else it's been what, like 2 weeks at the most.
Uh-huh.
That everyone's been missing. But time passes differently in the crossroads. So while he's helping to clean you up, he's like, "You said something about the herald of the end of the world."
Yeah, about that. I saw her. Fenris.
Her who?
I saw the mother.
The mother? Because he's like, you have lost it while you were gone. It's like the mother.
Mythal.
But I'm not Dalish.
I don't. Me neither.
And you hear the washcloth get dropped in the water, and he kind of sits back on his haunches. It's like, you mean to tell me that you, a former slave, a Tevinter elf like me, saw Mythal, the all-mother of the creators that the Dalish are taught to believe in and worship?
Big green dragon. Yeah.
And he blinks and just stares at you. He's like, "Are you sure you just didn't hit your head while you were gone?"
I wish I had. She said things. One, she's scary. She's very scary. And, she just said a few words to me and sent me running. Well, everything after it is a blur, and then I came out of the Illuvian. I don't even know how I made it.
He's just frowning in confusion at this point because, both of you would have not been raised with these stories.
Uh-huh.
And if you hadn't encountered Dalish elves in your travels, you wouldn't know much about them. You both knew some slaves tried to believe in the creators, hoping for salvation. Some even went as far as believing in Andraste, that weren't forced into it. But city elves often were treated just as bad as humans if they encountered Dalish elves. So he's just really concerned and confused. And while you're talking, he makes you get out of the bath so you can tip the water out and rinse it. He's being very gentle because he is basically thinking you hit your head somewhere and you are hallucinating, or you hallucinated this whole thing, because he's just like, none of this sounds right. And while he's refilling the tub, what are you doing?
It's nice to be home. Or as home as this place has been.
I'm glad that you're back. You first.
I'm glad to be back.
And he resumes giving you a bath.
What do you know of Fenrirel?
You hear a derisive snort. Well, my name that Daenerys gave me is a bit of a joke based on Fenrirel's name. Because he always called me his little wolf, remember?
You're gonna laugh.
I don't see a lot to laugh about right now.
Okay. Apparently you're very important, not just to me, but not just to the Inquisition, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it was a joke as much as it might have been fate. She told me that he who bears the name of the wolf shall be his chosen. And by him shall the return of the Forgotten Ones be stopped.
So, Bastion is going to bash on the door pretty heavily at this point
Okay.
and just kind of shout through. The kitchen said they were light on pepperoni, but I brought the rest.
Do you just enter?
Yes. And not look like, just kind of try to focus on the nearest table and not look anywhere else in the room.
Well, like you see Fenrir's like lean back and you just see his head pop out. Because I mean the bath isn't in the room. He's got like a separate room for the bath.
Yeah, Bastion's not sure where they are in the room. He's just bringing in that tray.
Okay.
I think at that, Verisa and Zalanis is following Verisa. I think they get the message at the same time, and Verisa comes in literally and says, "Bastion, I thought if we got messages, I don't think they would have been worried about, not letting us know that we were going to be here. They knew we were coming. Probably weren't going to be that busy."
From out in the hallway, you hear Mavia with Athson. No, really, he uses cold cuts. I'm not even joking. He told us all about it. It's very strange, and I like cold cuts, so I don't like to think about it. Do you want some pepperoni?
No, because I don't know where it's been.
Oh no, this
it's
stuff
only
is
been
fresh
with
from the
me.
kitchen.
Yeah.
Is kitchen an innuendo?
No, it's
No.
an actual kitchen where they cook food.
Okay.
Yeah, Atson, I brought it straight up. Trust me, they haven't touched it yet.
I mean, I don't know. Kitchen could have been where the goods are, so I just figured I'd ask.
Well, I mean,
No.
it's where the good stuff is, but it's not where the good stuff is. I mean, it's just saying.
Technically, the good stuff is in the other room now.
No, it's not good stuff. We try to ignore it.
So you just see Fenrir stand up to his full height because he's not short for an elf, and he crosses his arms and just stares at all of you. What?
Verisa has purposely, the minute this conversation started, moved herself along the wall towards the balcony window and just kind of leaning posted up against there.
He's just staring
And
at all
watching.
of you.
So the message, I assume the message we got, did it say it was Harold that was here?
Yes, he's back, but he's still.
No, that was Kelly asking
Oh.
Tanya.
Oh. Yes, you would have gotten a very hastily scribbled note saying the last of your party has returned. Harold is here with confused frowny face because the messenger thought they were being cute. Like confused frowny face Fenris drawing. And right now he looks like that frowny face because he's like basically whomst dares enter my room, even though and he's just like he's he's still taking a bath and he's confused. How
In
did
all
you even get up here this
in the
fast?
hallway.
What?
I stopped in the hallway. Bastian, as far as I know, is the only one
Hey,
that walked straight
In case you missed the memo, I'm fast.
I'm gonna
I'm
leave
not
that
sure you
alone.
should brag
Doesn't
about it.
necessarily seem relevant in the moment, but all right.
Oh,
I mean-
friends. And I would get out of the bath.
Oh my
Harold,
God. Are you walking out naked?
Yep.
Well, no, you can't walk out naked. Fenris is basically blocking your way out of
Yeah,
the
no,
bath.
I would just walk up like behind Fenris with a splish splash of my feet on the floor.
So Asin, just a little context. Not what happened to the pond stays in the pond. Okay, this is not a reiteration or reenactment thereof.
I'm so sorry, Simon. I have to.
Oh, no.
Mavia is going to kind of lean to the side. And she's
My
going to lean
God.
back and look up at Aston and says, I see why he needs the cold cuts.
Oh no.
Wow. If Fenris.
I had to!
Wow.
Hi, I'm back. You
Wow.
thought that this episode was gonna be heavy and deep and shit.
It was!
Fenris scowls at you for saying that. Because he's still like, he was still trying to
What?
deal
I'm
with
trying
what.
to make him laugh.
Oh, he's not amused.
No, not Fenris, Harold. Fenris is never going to laugh at Mavia.
I just
Mavia ignores Fenris.
Harold would just lean in to Fenris's ear and whisper, "It's because your armor is cold right now."
Oh, I wasn't talking about him, Harold.
No, I'm touching his armor.
I know, but she's just clarifying.
So,
Anyway.
new person. Let me just grab a towel.
So
Asin,
Fenris is not letting you past him, by the way.
Oh, okay.
He's just like, why are you all in my room?
Why
Harold's
are
back.
we
You sent for us.
We got a note.
I was telling you he's here. That wasn't an open invitation.
That was not Never mind. I'm gonna go eat some bacon.
There's no bacon in here. Where are you getting bacon?
Like she doesn't have any on her person at
I
all
was gonna
times.
Say. Wow.
Pocket bacon.
This is like the scene where everyone barges in on Bull and the Inquisitor.
Uh-huh.
And Fenris is like Athson just saw this expression on Fenris's face not too long ago. He is like super stone-faced, not real thrilled right now because he was just letting you know Harold was back. He thought he'd at least have time to like let the man have a bath and eat before everyone showed up, if they showed up.
No.
But it also wasn't an explicit "come to my room. There's a party." And so he's just like blocking the door. He's like, "Can you at least let him get dressed first?"
sure. And Bastion will just kind of sit wherever is convenient.
There's
And wait.
actually not a lot of furniture in the Inquisitor's room, now that I think about it. There's the giant bed, there's the desk, and a couple divans, and a lot of bookshelves. At least the when you're near the end of the game version of it. And there's always a book on the divan for some reason.
Would therefore likely sit on, I'm assuming the meat platter ended up on the desk and would therefore sit a few inches away.
Yeah, but if Fenris knows you sitting on his desk, he's just gonna give you a look like, "Don't sit on my desk."
Ugh, God.
There's a whole chair there. There is seating, but not enough for everyone. But he'll just give you kind of that raised eyebrow, like, "You dare sit on my desk?" Like I don't know you like that.
At least he's sitting on your desk with some clothes on. Sorry. Carry on.
It's like, I know we just got you back, but we know we're
Zelanis, I
dealing
didn't
with
expect
this.
that from you. He'll go and sit on one of the appropriate seating places and wait.
I mean, there's extra clothes in the bathing chamber. Would Harold have gotten comfortable enough before they set out to find Anders to have left either a change of clothes or something else in Fenris's quarters?
Oh yeah, Harold left like most of the stuff he had aside from, the adventuring gear part of what he needed. So yes, definitely like change of clothes, like probably like a proper warden uniform,
Okay,
like
well, whatever.
blue and gray, and with the thing he would have worn at like an important function.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can put on casual clothes. Fenris is a little tall for you to wear any of his clothes, but you get dressed and you tap him on the arm to show him that you are clothed. And he begrudgingly lets you by. And then he's just giving everyone kind of stares, leaning in the doorway to the bathing chamber. Yes, he's back. I was hoping you'd give us more time than this, but there he is. A bit worse for wear, but at least now he's clean. And if you don't mind, I'm sure he's hungry with warden appetites.
Yeah, I am so many things, but hungry is one of them.
So, how you doing aside from hungry?
I'm scared.
What happened in there?
He would like look over Bastien, noticing that there's a new member of the party.
Oh yeah.
Look at Atsen and go. Just look Atsen up and down. And go like, Hi.
Hello.
Atson. Harold. Atson.
Pleasure to meet you, Harold.
Pleasure
He
to meet you
got-
too.
Atson is responsible for getting most of us out of the crossroads and back here.
Oh.
Thanks for watching over them, Atsen, sir.
It's my pleasure. They are a very animated group you have here.
Mm-hmm. He turns to Fenris and would just say, well, at least they replaced me with someone just as good looking.
What?
D-
How did you get separated from your group?
Oh, I don't know.
He was an idiot and ran through after another idiot.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then a
Somebody's
bunch
the
more
name
idiots
calling.
ran through after that. So
I would like to point out that I was the last idiot to go through, and it was really mostly because of peer pressure.
I would also like to go point out that I only ran after the idiots because I understood that they were acting as idiots.
Yeah, well, this idiot now knows what's about to happen, and he doesn't like it.
So help the idiots be not idiots anymore and tell us
After
what's
I
going
eat,
on. Yeah, eat.
So while
Senior
you're
appetite.
eating, while he's eating, Fenris has picked up his wine again, and he's wandering around his room, just kind of giving you all a bit of a look. And he's like, "Well, while he eats, and I'm not sure I understand all this because I don't know Dalish lore or culture, other than the bits the keeper taught me in Kirkwall. Supposedly, something called the Forgotten Ones are returning. And I'm Fenharel's chosen that can stop them. I'm very confused."
When Mavia hears Keeper, she looks over at Zelanos and she's like, "Is this a good thing?"
Well, I know that it's a very bad thing, but I don't know what Zalanis knows.
I mean, Zalanis as a keeper would know that.
Great. Okay. So just sort of big eyes, just slowly sort of shakes his head.
Care to share?
Well, I certainly could share the old stories, but I think what's important is the upcoming stories. Harold, what else do you know? How do you know this? Tell us. Well, tell us everything.
I'm also eating at the same time, but
So sorry that you're still eating. I forgot that you were still eating. I'm so sorry.
it's in the crossroad. I saw.
Oh, Harold, it is so good to see you. This is disgusting. We'll wait till you're done eating. We'll be downstairs.
No, you don't. I mean, you've already rushed in. While he finishes eating, the other strange and unbelievable part of this, he claims that Mythal spoke to him and told him this. Yes.
Sorry. The Mythal?
Isn't there only one?
Well, as far as I know, but if it's the same Mythal that I know of, well, you have to admit it's rather surprising that, no offense meant, of course, Harold, but, what?
I don't know. Look, I know very little. Very, very little. I'm kind of dumb. But I did see statues of Mythal before. The Dragon Lady, Mother of the Elves, that whole thing. Look, if it's, and he looks back at Fenris, if it's not Mythal, there's a huge-ass dragon in the crossroad.
I mean, if there's the threat of the end of the world that determines the summoning of Fenrirel's chosen, it would not be unconceivable that the All-Mother Protector of the people would choose who's ever handy to convey that information.
But, well, I suppose if the Forgotten Ones return, I suppose that it's possible that the creators have also managed to escape. Sort of looks around to all of the non-elves and is like, oh, I'm so sorry. Let's start at the beginning, shall we?
Wait, no. If you're starting at the beginning, I'm getting a drink. And she'll literally walk across the room to a bar.
Be
to
brief
bar.
for me, anyway. But he says, right, I will give the, don't say Cliff Notes, short version. When the world was created and the pantheon of elven gods was creating the world, there were, and Tanya, please tell me if I'm getting any of this wrong. This is sort of out my butt, and I think I remember it. There were the creator gods, the benevolent gods who created the world, Mythal, of course, as one of their leaders. And then there were what we now call the Forgotten Ones, the evil aspects of the deities that existed since the beginning of the universe. And as the legend goes, the dread wolf, Fenrirel, who our two friends here are clearly namesakes of, tricked both sets of gods in order to imprison them. The Forgotten Ones in the Abyss and the creators in the heavens. And there they have stayed, as far as I am aware, for longer than any of us care to remember. So if Hero saw Mythal and spoke with Mythal, then there is some suggestion that the creators, or at least Mythal, have escaped the bondage of heaven, and apparently come to warn us that so too have the Forgotten Ones escaped the bondage of the abyss. Now, if all of that is true, well, there is, shall we say, a reason that the gods were imprisoned, and that no reasoning person has thought to release them or seek for them. But what is this about Fenrir's chosen? And tell me what this is, Harold, now that we are all caught up on the old stories.
She just said like one phrase. Said that he who bears the wolf's name shall prevent the Forgotten One's returns. It's the chosen of Fenrir. He who bears the wolf's name is his chosen and will prevent or stop the Forgotten Ones from coming. I'm already losing the message, but it was clear as day. And then I ran. And then I ran, and I don't remember how far I ran.
So, Fenris has been listening to all of this. And you actually hear the glass he was holding shatter. And when everyone looks at him, he's staring at the mark in his hand. And he just starts laughing. Because this is just too much. First the Herald of Andraste, and now supposedly the chosen of Fenrir himself. That an elven deity that he prayed to and begged to as a slave spoke to his lover and has now settled him with even more destiny. He just starts laughing. You know that, like, one more thing and he's going to be on the floor crying kind of laughter?
Yeah.
He's like, I have hit the limit. Fenris has checked out. We're done here. What are you all doing when you see Fenris just kind of totally crack in front of you?
Verisa reaches behind her back and pulls the flask out from her back of her belt and negligently tosses it at Harold and says, "You're gonna want to give him that."
Yeah, Harold would reach out to Fenris with the drink. Probably also bring Fenris like to his bed so he can sit down somewhere comfortable. And then get immediately raided by 44 people. Hello, raiders!
Hello. It's a struggle, but you do get Fenris to sit on his bed. He's still giggling and laughing in a very manic way.
Can you all give us a moment?
Not
Please?
quite yet.
No.
What?
Can you give us a moment? Absolutely not.
Nope, you don't get it.
Uh,
It is not for you.
Zalana's sort of doesn't react to Fenris for a moment, just sort of totally lost in thought, standing with his arms crossed, and then he sort of comes back and sees that Fenris is obviously overwhelmed, and he says, "Fenris, for what it's worth, you have the mark, and you are named Wolf, obviously for the Dread Wolf, among other things, but I do not think you are alone in this, as you feel that you have been for so long. I have seen too much, both with all of you and with my time in the Crossroads, to believe that coincidence in these types of situations is possible. And I must point out, you are not the only one among us who shares a name with the Dread Wolf. And I just sort of look over to Harrell.
No. I'm the messenger. I'm not part of this.
I would never presume to speak for Mythal or to instruct one who has been chosen to hear the words of Mythal. But you cannot tell me that you believe that your name has nothing to do with the Dread Wolf, my friend.
I don't know. I was given the name by... And he would look to Fenris, very, very confused. I was given the name by a human. They don't know anything.
Oh, at that, Fenris finally he just sits up. He's like, "Where do you think my name came from? My name's not Fenris." And he just goes back. He's still laughing, but it's tapering off finally. And he looks at you, Harold. It's like, you know that my real name is nothing like the one Daenerys gave me.
No, I know, but Harold is my real name.
Your parents didn't know the stories? Don't you think other Tevinter slaves knew of
Oh, they could have.
Baelish gods?
I'm out of it. It's been... It was a very big dragon, everyone.
I saw a dragon in the Crossroads.
Was that the same? Big? Green?
Small, black,
Wyverns.
very cute. Made squeaky noises.
Okay.
Did not give me any dread pronouncements.
That's nice. I wish...
I saw them with Aiden.
Who?
Aiden.
He's very friendly.
Mm-hmm. He's very old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know
We
what
found
this...
him in the Crossroads.
Fenris, I don't know when they're gonna come. I don't know if what I heard was I don't know if what I heard was real or not. I don't know if it was myth. It could have been a demon. It could have been anything, but on the off chance that it's true, I don't think the Inquisition can tackle both the rifts in the sky and the return of the Forgotten Ones. I think we're gonna have a lot of work.
What if they're the same thing and connected?
I
Then
mean,
every
I don't
rift
know
that...
anything. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Mavia would kind of step around and actually put her toe into Fenris's room and be like, I don't know anything about all this magic stuff, but I know about stories. And coincidences aren't actually a thing. It's very strange that this is all happening, and then he sees a big dragon that talks to him. I'm just saying it's probably all connected.
So what's the next step? I mean, if it is all connected, the rifts, these forgotten ones, where do we go from here?
Right now, I don't know. Fenris is like finally like sat up and he's kind of wiping out his face and his voice is hoarse. I don't really know right now. This is too much to take in. This is almost as bad as waking up in prison at Haven. In fact, it may be worse to be beholden both to Andraste that I've never believed in, because she surely never answered my prayers, and Fenharel of all people. Well, whatever he is, because my name is surely a joke on his name. I think what I need is I need to get very drunk, make sure I eat something, have some water, and then sleep in. This is too much.
Well, focus on the positive, Fenris. You don't have to pay me to hunt down Harold now.
You were gonna hunt me down?
Wait, you were getting paid?
Of course. And she just kind of, as she walks out of the room, just kind of knocks Harold on the back of the head and says, well, you're alive, aren't you? And then keeps going.
Fenris is too kind of shell-shocked to even respond, but you weren't going to get paid anymore. It's like, he already repaid you all. Like, Harold's got money coming to him, even though he wasn't really there when you found Fenris, but a deal's a deal.
Oh, but that's the thing. Verisa never said she was going to seek money for hunting down Harold and Zalanis. She just promised Fenris that she would do it as part of the thing. And now she's saying that she's going to, he doesn't have to pay her as she walks out.
It's okay, Harold. When she says hunt, she doesn't actually mean she would have killed you, but she would have found you and brought you home.
Honest just sort of gives you a look.
That's what search and rescue is for.
Point.
If I was going to kill you, it would be, the term would be assassinate. And she keeps walking.
That means I'm important.
You're strange.
Hi, I don't know a thing about you, but I would like to know more.
Are you
Not in a...
flirting with me?
Huh?
Yes.
I have a boyfriend.
That didn't answer my question.
I was going to say that wasn't the question.
Hi.
Why aren't you answering my question? And then I go like, maybe I see. This is why I don't understand. I don't understand.
No, wait, what question?
I didn't hear your question either, Atson.
Was he flirting with me?
Yeah, he was, and he was doing it in front of his boyfriend.
Who's his boyfriend?
She kind of does that over at Fenris.
Oh, good taste.
What?
What?
Huh?
Huh?
I guess.
Nothing?
Sure. If that's your type, you know, the broody type, I guess.
If...
Hmm.
Never mind.
Okay.
And he's like mumbling to himself, I really hope Anders doesn't bring up the picture. Really hope Anders doesn't bring that up.
Oh! A scout told me that you found Enders.
We did.
Congratulations. Was it... Did he put up a fight?
Not really, no.
Uh,
I mean,
I tackled him. And
Maybe,
I stole his pillow. But I gave it back.
maybe I kind of did this really heroic flying through the air
I
thing.
did. It was very dramatic.
Quite the finisher.
I'm
Yep.
surprised Verissa didn't try to skewer him or something.
Well, that happened kind of just before and left the opening for Mavia. It
Mhm.
was kind of really acrobatic.
Oh, hey,
I was
let's
Very
not
graceful.
bother the Lord Inquisitor anymore. We should take this discussion downstairs.
Aren't we all imbibing copious amounts of alcohol and eating?
Yes, but I thought we were still in his room.
You are.
We are.
Yeah, let's go downstairs.
Yes, let's.
Before you can get away, Harold,
Mhm.
you feel Fenris's hand on your back, asking you to stay.
I'll be down in 30 to 45 minutes, and I close the door.
Wait, no. Okay.
Wow, only 30 to 45 minutes.
Wow.
There
Well,
it is.
no. Before you close the door,
Uh-oh.
yeah, before you close the door, like as you're walking out before he grabs you, Mavia is going to steal her courage and actually walk over to Fenris. And sitting on his bed, I assume he would still be above her eye level, I guess. Most likely.
Yeah.
They're very high beds in Skyhold. We really have to talk to like HR about that. So she's gonna kind of look up at him and look very concerned and actually lift her hand and pat him on the knee. And she will say, I've seen that look before. And she's very quiet. She's making it so nobody else can hear him. I've seen that look before that you have right now. Everything's a little confusing. And you're not sure what you're going to do, right?
And he's just looking at her, kind of like, where's this going?
All I can tell you is that it'll get better. You've got friends. I didn't have friends, so I think friends are going to make it easier for you. And so she pats him on the knee again and just walks out and like smacks Harold on the shoulder as she goes.
Can you reach his shoulder?
Nope. She's going to try though. She's probably just going to like hit him by the elbow, but she's attempting to be a camaraderie kind of person.
All right.
She makes an attempt was made.
I know. I'm just trying to picture this literally in my mind's eye.
It's probably like the little hop, like the little tiny hop. Like if you ever see like one of those kittens that misjudges the jump and they don't quite make it and they just go like that's probably what it looks like.
All right. Everyone is gone, and Fenris basically has a hold of your. I don't know if it's a jerkin, if it's a vest, if you're just wearing a shirt. And all of you kind of troop downstairs. And once the door's closed, he doesn't hear anyone else. He lets you go. But he's still sitting there with his head in his hands, like I can't do this. This is too much.
If
Are you going to answer Fenris?
yeah, if it's any consolation, I'm here. I'll shoulder the burden with you.
Well, I didn't get a chance to tell you before everyone stormed in. I'm really glad you're back. And he pulls you into his arms for a hug that's way more emotional than you would have expected from him. And with that, we're gonna cut to everyone else downstairs and see if our one party member that hasn't been seen today has anything to do or say. Unless, Harold, you want to go downstairs and like get more food, get more drink.
Yeah.
As long as you promise to come back, Fenris will be okay with you leaving.
Yeah, Harold would just go down, probably to get like another bottle of something and something sweet to eat. He's been thinking about a lot of things when he was stuck in the crossroads, and he figured you could probably trade cold cuts for chocolate, and that might be more romantic. It's a he's workshopping it.
Have
But-
you considered bacon?
Chocolate covered bacon.
Or bacon covered chocolate.
Caramelized bacon.
In maple syrup.
No!
Oh, yes.
Anyway, he would
Stop
go
it,
downstairs.
Canada.
Yes, so he goes, but only after he promises Fenris that he'll be back. So Fenris is just sitting there, waiting for him to come back, and he's just like, this was too much. It was overload. So he is by himself. What if anything has Aiden been doing with his entire day or evening, I should say?
Aiden's been reading some of the books that he got from the library.
Okay.
He just spent the day either outside or inside, depending on the weather, the wind and the light, just reading, taking notes. He's been taking it very slow today, and everyone as everyone comes into the room, Aiden would be like, "Hi, where have you all been?"
Aiden! Yeah, looks like you didn't get the memo. Harold is back. And he said some weird stuff, which I think someone with more elven knowledge than me should probably relay to you, because I'm not very savvy.
Someone with more... And he looks to Zalanis and Atson, and then Varissa.
And in perfect elven, looking you dead in the eye, Harold met the Great Mother. She gave him a direction about the Forgotten Ones returning and the importance of the servant of Femharel acting against them.
Clearly, this Harold must be some sort of very special individual. And then Harold comes down, and Aiden would just turn around and be like, "Hi, I'm Aiden." Hi. You must be Harold. Yes, hi. You're an elf. I am. And you've met Mythal. I think I did. Who is this person?
Harold,
Adam.
Atson?
Asin is literally raising his hand.
Atson?
Yes, Aston, do you have something to say?
Does anyone think it's strange that Harold's name is very similar to the word herald and they came back with a message?
It was so
Not-
focused on the similarity with the Dread Wolf's name that I didn't even notice that. But you're not wrong.
Coincidence is bunk.
What she said.
It might have. I would love to have a chat with you. Just sit down and trade some information.
It could possibly be a very one-sided conversation.
That got me.
I mean, the strange thing that's gonna happen is you'll never see Aiden and Harold in the same room. Like
So
one
of
will
them is
come to sit
Batman.
down.
That's all it is. One of them is Batman. Oh no.
But yeah, so Aiden, and I'll paraphrase the rest, but Aiden creeps out Harold, and Harold will just take food and drinks, and I'm gonna go back upstairs with Fenris.
Have fun.
Or don't. It's up to you.
I read a book that I might have tips for you if you need them.
I don't think he needs them.
I'm
Wait.
assuming that 15 minutes was just like the hello,
What?
and now
Bastian, let's go look over this letter that I'm writing for you, okay? Let's go this way. Right over this way. And she will
What's
take
your
him to a
book?
different table.
Oh, they're playing with knobs.
I'm not playing with knobs, you hear as she comes.
no, I think he actually realized that Harold and Fenris are going to be playing with knobs.
I don't want to think about it.
We are both distressed and need emotional comfort. Jeez, and I will storm upstairs.
I mean, I get emotional comfort from food. Have you ever tried that? I'm just saying.
Bacon works miracles.
Lots of carbs.
Look,
And I, unless you all are going to keep this gag going, I think Harold stomping off with his tray is a good place to stop.
Fenris is definitely a top.
Oh, God.
That's a good place to stop.
You know what? I'm just gonna leave early. It was nice seeing you.
Listen, I just make the innuendos. Gabe just smashes right through those.
Gabe does smash.
No, Tiny, don't give me that look.
Listen.
Oh, just wait till next week. Just you wait.
yeah, we still have a demon to take out of you.
I think Eugenio and I went to the same place.
I know where you went. I think we're done here.
Yeah.
Yep, we are.
Oh boy.
Wow.
There is a similarity to food as a comforter, and anyway,
Nope, I
it all
actually
involves
like
having
cold cuts.
something in your
Please-
mouth.
Please stop. Please stop. Nope.
I'm Simon at Wandering DM. Let's go around the table. Tell us who you are. I'll keep the spiel for last. We'll do the reverse order. So we'll start with Tanya tonight.
Tanya.
Why are you starting with me?
Because you're perfect.
Because he's sparing me.
And she's perfect.
No. Tanya, I've been your DM, GM for the Shenaniganry, Innuendo, and Feels. And we have one more week of this. Hopefully I will survive. But in other news, Rivals Waterdeep returns on Sunday, and I am the DM for the 8th season. If you believe in prayer, pray for me, because I don't know what's going to happen. None of us know what's going to happen. And then Sunday evening, Eugenio is our storyteller for Into the Motherlands on my channel. 4 Pacific, 6 Central, 7 Eastern, midnight for our friends in the UK until daylight savings. And yes, there will be a VOD, because we get asked that literally multiple times a day. There will be a VOD. So yeah, come by, see what we're doing. We actually start playing this week. Last week was session 0. There is no dungeon crossing this week, just because I am overburdened and overencumbered to steal some D&D parlance. And then before we come back from Dragon Age, I am also guesting a Loading Ready run tomorrow. at 10 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. noon. We have some silly fun shenanigans in Animal Crossing and digging for clams. I've not done this before. We'll see what happens, but that is on Loading Ready Run's channel. And
But I thought we stopped the innuendo. No, I'm stopped. Okay. I'm sorry.
Kelly. I forgot where I was going next.
No Dungeon Crossing this week. And,
Yeah, I'm
Load,
That-
ready, run.
Yeah.
That's right.
I was getting there. Loading Ready Run tomorrow. Come see some Animal Crossing shenanigans. Who's next?
Next would actually be Kelly.
Oh, is it Kelly?
Yeah.
So I can talk over Kelly?
Yep.
Yeah, you can talk over me all you want. I'm
Don't hold
holding
up
a dog because you love him. Hi, I'm Kelly, known as the Opera Geek. You can find me pretty much anywhere at the Opera Geek. I'm a variety streamer on my channel. I do play quite a bit of Animal Crossing. I'm currently spookifying my island. It's a work in progress. I'm also apparently scaring the crap out of myself playing. I guess I'm starting Fatal Frame 2 sometime later this week because Fatal Frame 1 had a sad disaster inside the PlayStation 2. RIP Fatal Frame 1 CD. Anyway, there's that. And then tomorrow from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern, I will be part of a charity game for Extra Life for virtual GaryCon. I'm going to be playing with Latia, Bryant, Jason Charles Miller, John Connor, and Brandon Cutler. So it's going to be really fun. And I hope we see you there. Yes. Bye.
Eugenio.
Hey everybody, I'm Eugenio. You can find me online on Twitter at DMJazzyHands. Let's see, I am the DM and producer of an actual play D&D podcast called The Last Refuge. We just released our season finale for season 6, so plenty of backlog if you're looking for things to listen to, and we'll start season 7 in 2 weeks. You can find us online at DND Last Refuge. Tanya already mentioned on Sunday nights, I'm the storyteller for Into the Motherlands. Very, very excited to get started playing on that this weekend on her channel, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Sunday. What else am I doing before next week that you should know about? I do stream on my own channel Thursday afternoons and Friday evenings. I am streaming Baldur's Gate 3, the early access that just released a couple of days ago, having a great time. And Larian has put out a very neat Twitch integration. So all of the dialogue decisions in the game are decided by chat. I let you all vote, and whatever you all decide is what we do. It's gone really well so far. It's been a lot of fun. I love that all of you all are very excited too. Yeah, it's super fun. Tuesdays I stream more Dragon Age, so if this isn't enough for you, I'm playing through Dragon Age 2. We're getting close to the end game, but I think I got a few weeks left, so that's on Tuesday afternoons. And I think that is it. That doesn't feel right, but I guess it is. So yeah, thanks.
Up next, Deirdre.
Hi y'all. This was fun. I missed you all. This was great. There were feels, and then there was other things that happened, and it was great. But as for me, hey y'all, you know me. I'm at Deirdre on Twitter, Prexgorth as Mia4. You see me around on Twitch, and you can find me back here tomorrow for a premiere of season 3 of Cyberpunk. And Trins is in a very interesting place now. Yeah, it's great. She's in a quasi-healthy relationship. I think this might be really strange. And then on Saturday, over on my channel, we're having episode 2 of for the first campaign I'm running on my channel, The Regiment. If you like Napoleonic War history and high drama and intrigue and everything you can get out of a Jane Austen novel with fighting the French, that's kind of what we're doing. Right now the regiment is kind of concerned because apparently somebody is selling British horses to the French, and that's not good. But we'll see what happens, and come hang out. I will see and check my Twitter because I always post where I'm going to be, all the wonderful, fun people I get to hang out with, and all the fun, wonderful things I get to do. So I'll see you next time.
Up next, Gabe.
Hello. You can find me on the D&D channel Mondays at 1 p.m. Pacific time. We're playing through the Rime of the Frost Maiden campaign. You can find me Fridays on the Roll20 app Twitch channel, 10 a.m. Pacific time on my talk show Tabletop Table Talk, which is literally just about inspiring more people to become comfortable GMing and running their own stories. And this, I guess tomorrow, literally, I'm talking about world building, because I love doing it, and there's like no right way to do it, but I feel like there's a lot of ways to get overwhelmed doing it and get frustrated, and it sometimes sucks because it sometimes makes jamming not fun, which it should be. I also work on Into the Motherlands along with Tanya Eugenio, and it's been a very exciting experience getting to see the development happen live while people are seeing the show and the world for the first time.
And lastly is Andrew.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrew at Anderful1 on Twitter, and you can find me here on Thursdays at least for one more week. And once I have projects and other things going on, I'll be putting that on Twitter actually. Other than that, that's about it. Guys, thank you for an amazing episode today.
And I'm Simon at Wandering DM. Thank you everyone for coming. As was said before, tomorrow night is the premiere at 8 p.m. of our first episode of the third season of Cyberpunk Red. We left our last season with an ominous message, a shootout right after people got a text message saying the game has begun. So we'll see where that leads. Then on Saturday on Level Up Dice, twitch.tv/levelupdice at 1 p.m. Eastern, we are doing our world building session for our Scion campaign. So if you want to check that out, we're going to be creating the city that these new baby gods are going to be playing in. And then on Monday, we are back with episode 2 of Secrets of the North, our Rime of the Frost Maiden campaign, with Kelly and a bunch of others fantastic players. And we've learned that cuddle piles and holes in the ground is basically our first...
Not a thing. Not a thing we're doing. That's what that is not a thing we're doing.
That
Anyway.
was a hilarious scene.
Nope.
And then on Thursday, we are back here for the finale of Dragon Age. Before we leave tonight, let's go raid our friend Pleasantly Twisted on her channel, as she, if I remember correctly, is doing art for Into the Motherlands.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll raid Twisted, and we will be back next week. Ciao, everyone.